Hello all. Today we will see about Python lambda function. So I will make a promise. We will track this question if asked in interview. Okay. So let's move on. What is Python lambda function? So before understanding what is a lambda function in Python, let's understand a simple function. A simple function, you would have already know that it has a def, okay, which is a boilerplate, and you have a return, and we send in the argument here like a here, and we normally have multi-line of statements, okay, like we write logic, and based on the logic we return the end of it, we return. And once this part of function executes, yeah, function object gets created and it gets saved in the func variable in the memory, okay, and calling that variable, okay, you can actually call the function and we are passing an argument. If we are going to execute this, you can very well see it will just return 101. Okay, let me execute it for you. Okay, so you will see 101 being there. Okay, it says logic not defined. Let me define, just I will comment it out for time being. Okay, and let's execute now. So you will see 101. So this is how the simple function works. Okay, so now let's understand what is the difference with the lambda function. So lambda function is nothing. Okay, let's go to the, it is a nothing with, lambda function is something which does not have any name, okay, and other thing is like func1 here, we don't have any name there, and it is just a single line of code. You can't have multiple line of code as in the case of simple function where you can have multiple line. That is not possible in lambda. Only a single line, single expression is possible, and you can't have a return statement, and whatever the return of that expression gets returned, that's it. There is no return statement or nothing, and there is no boilerplate code like def or return, nothing we have. And it is a one time function. Why I say one time function? Normally a simple function, if you take in Python, you can use that function everywhere in your script. You can basically reuse it, okay, you can reuse it anytime within the scope. You can call it in number of times, but in case of lambda function you don't have a reference. Like in the case of here we have func1, right? We don't have any reference in case of lambda function. Once it is executed, it is completed, it is dead, and it is like more of bye bye. You give it to the function, okay, you use it, throw it, that's it. So we call it as one time function, and there is no memory also saved or any reference for that function using which you can call it. Okay, let's write a simple lambda function for the same function you can have here. Let me write a lambda function, same function. So I will have print, okay, I will just call lambda. So only lambda is required here. Okay, no other boilerplate code. Just to say, mention lambda to say it is a anonymous function. We just mention lambda here, and the argument you are want to pass into the lambda function, and the expression. Here I want to pass in a argument of a, and get return from that function a plus 1. Whatever I pass in, just add in 1 to that. And to call this lambda function, I just will say like this 100. So this also will be 101. Okay, you understand, right? So here when this part of expression gets executed, we are not having any reference, we are not getting saving any reference to it. We just call it, and once it gets executed, it is exited and it dies out, or we say bye bye to that function. Okay, so let me comment this out so that we don't get confused. Mm, so let me comment this and let me execute this. Okay, let me execute this. Okay, so as we thought, it will be 101. And other multiple lambda functions, you can pass in n number of arguments. Okay, we passed in just a one argument. You can pass in n number of arguments, a b c whatever. I will pass in 3 arguments, and maybe a b plus c. Okay, just add, and you pass in all the argument here. Okay, just call it like this. Let me execute this one. So the answer should be 600. So you hope this is clear. Just for your interview, just make sure you understand all this 4 lines so that you understand it better. I think hope you can clear any interview when you ask this question. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.